How to set goals for a new year. And one of my favorite things. I'm going to give you 6 specific steps. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that if we have a clear plan, anything becomes possible. And if you can have a clear plan, a clear process to create that plan, and a way to create clarity with your partner or spouse, you can drive to amazing heights. All right, so I've been setting goals personally since I was 10, literally. My old man taught me how to do that. And I've been working with leadership teams, individuals, organizations across the world for 30 years helping people set goals. My wife and I do this on a very regular basis. And when you choose to do this, you hit the gas on what is possible. And it doesn't matter if you're looking at doing this as an individual, a couple, an organization, leadership team. They're all basically the same steps. And we'll go through each one of the 6 steps. The first one is you have to assess where you are. You have to have a definition of where we are today before we can figure out where it is we want to go. Now, what I mean by that is from a personal level, if you'd like, you're welcome to go to our site. Doesn't cost you anything, lifeon-yourterms.com. And about halfway down, you can do an assessment. It's free. And it'll give you an assessment on a holistic level, and it'll takes about 7-8 minutes, and it'll give you a printout immediately of where you are, so you can understand where are you starting from. Now, if you're in a business or an organization, you're going to want to review the previous year and be very candid, open, celebrate those victories. It's something that easily we forget to do, but remember to celebrate, but also be candid and direct. What can we do better? Where are we today? Now, the next thing is that you need to define where do we want to go. So in the next 12 months, what does amazing look like? And I would encourage that you look at it on a holistic level for your organization. This means that you have a conversation with each of the people on your leadership team, excuse me, or if you're working as an individual, look at it from your life, and you can use the balance wheel and the 4 quadrants of the balance wheel, and I talk about this in other videos. But you can look at this to just start to define what would amazing look like. And I love the prompt, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you achieve? What would that look like for your health, for your physical, whatever it may be? What would it look like in your business for your sales, for your new customer relations business, your new product, service, or offering? What do those things look like? Don't think about how right now. That's not the important part. It's figuring out the what. What is it? Where do we want to go? What does amazing look like? And then I want you to write that out at the end of this, and say, we want to have it so that it looks like this. That ends up becoming basically your goal. Now, with this, I've done every type of goal setting there is, and I've worked with people all over the world, like I said, and unfortunately, a lot of times people get really excited about this and then they want to write 18 goals. I'm going to really encourage you, 3rd step, less is more. Come up with 3 to 5 big, hairy, audacious goals. It's Jim Collins, BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goals. You can get done this year. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would those look like? Because if you have 3 to 5, you're going to invest more energy, and your likelihood of achieving those goes up dramatically. If you have even 8 to 12, your likelihood starts to nosedive that you're going to get any of them done. So less is more. Come up with what those are, but then be very specific on what success would look like, almost a visualization of sorts. Once you've done that, go through and begin to create a plan. Now, it's going to say, okay, the easy way to do this is say, okay, for us to achieve this, whatever that goal may be, what are all the things that we have to do? And list all those things out. Now, this is the 4th thing, is listing everything out. The 5th thing is listing it all out. And looking at it, I'm like, wow, there's a lot here. But I've seen people actually do this on like a sliding glass door and use Post-it notes. List everything out, but then pull them all out and group them together in the same groupings. So you may end up with, 15 things that are around a finance piece, or 15 things around a new offering, or 15 things around your personal health, whatever those things are. Group them together. And those are going to be the components of what success looks like for your goal, but now you're actually creating the steps that you're going to, within that goal, on what's going to be done. And you can come back and review, this is what I said for my goals, am I right, did I miss anything, back and forth, and then list those up there, and then realize that in the first step then is going to be, there's almost always a linchpin, or a first step. man, we got to get this taken care of first so that we can then move forward to the next. And that's the next thing, is how are you going to be able to create your first quarterly objectives? What is the actual action plan you're building so that you're going to create it so that you can make sure you're going to achieve those goals? Now, it's crazy, but as human beings, we're good for about 90 days before we squirrel and start chasing shiny objects. So the clearer you can be on what the overarching goal is, have all the components in there that you start thinking, well, I got to do all this stuff. Okay, then what do you have to get done in this first quarter? And then write that out. So when you start coming back and you start figuring out where you're going and how you're doing these things, this is the basics of what you need to do when you want to set a new goal for the year. Make sure I got that right from my notes. But the big thing is start with an assessment of where you are. You have to know where you are, where you're starting from, to figure out where you want to go. Once you do that, then visualize and define what does amazing look like and where do you want to go. On a high level, don't worry about how yet. Just start with what does success look like if you knew you couldn't fail, where do you want to go in those areas. Write those out and remember that less is more. 3 to 5 at the high end, and then build out all of the pieces that it's going to take to make that happen. Don't get overwhelmed with that. Group them together and say, all right, what can I get done in this first quarter, in this first 90 days, and list those out. And then once you have that, then this is just going to become a part of the process and how you review and go back and forth on this. So ideally you found some value with this. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out to us at lifeon-yourterms.com. We'd love to hear from you. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for investing some time. Keep smiling.